Chapter 1. Tupelo. Elvis wasn't always rich. He didn't always own a mansion or a garage filled with Cadillacs. He didn't always have fancy clothes and expensive jewelry. As a boy, Elvis was poor, very poor. Elvis Aaron Presley was born on January 8, 1935, in Tupelo, Mississippi. His mother, Gladys, was pregnant with twins, but she didn't know it. Like a lot of poor people in the South, the Presleys didn't have the money to see doctors, so Elvis's mother gave birth at home. The delivery was difficult. At around 4 in the morning, Gladys gave birth to a son, but sadly he was stillborn. Then Gladys realized there was another baby still inside her. About a half hour later, Elvis arrived. The family named the baby who died Jesse Garin. The healthy boy was named Elvis Aaron. Gladys and Vernon Presley couldn't even afford a gravestone for little Jesse Garin. Though he never met Jesse Garin, Elvis thought about his twin all the time. He wondered what life would have been like with a brother. As a boy, he would go visit Jesse's grave. As a famous rock star, Elvis still talked about the brother he never knew. Elvis's childhood wasn't easy. His family struggled. The Presleys lived on the poor side of town. Their house had only 2 rooms. Vernon hadn't finished high school. He married Gladys when he was just 17. Without an education, Vernon found it hard to find or keep a good job. At different times, he worked on farms, painted houses, and drove trucks. A lot of people were going through hard times, just like the Presleys. Elvis was born in the middle of the Great Depression. All across the United States, people couldn't find work. They couldn't make enough money for food and clothes. People had to beg for food or hope for free lunch at a soup kitchen. Families moved from town to town looking for work. Some people had to live in cardboard boxes. At least the Presleys had a home. It didn't have electricity or running water. There was no indoor bathroom. Instead, Vernon built an outhouse in the backyard. An outhouse is a small wood hut with no real toilet, just a hole in the ground. Gladys couldn't have any more babies, so she became very nervous that Elvis might get hurt. She walked him to school every day. She gave him a whipping when he did something wrong. Elvis didn't like getting hit, but he loved his mother very much. He would hurry home after school in the afternoon to be with Mama. The Presley family went through ups and downs. When Vernon got a good job, the family would usually buy a new house. When he lost a job, they would have to sell it and move into a smaller rented place. One time, Vernon was so desperate, he tried to cheat someone out of money. That got him in big trouble. A judge sent Vernon to jail for 8 months. Gladys and Elvis were forced to move in with Vernon's family. Most weekends, they rode a bus to see Vernon in prison. It was 10 hours round trip. Elvis, who was just 3, sometimes sat on the front steps of his house, crying. He didn't think his father would ever come home. But Vernon did return, and he found a new job. The family joined a local church. It was at church that Elvis first started singing. He was so good that he sang with the choir. Right away, people could tell that his voice was special. He even won a prize at a fair for singing. Gladys always encouraged Elvis. The family couldn't afford much. However, for Elvis's 11th birthday, Gladys gave him his first guitar. "It will help you with your singing," she told him. "And everyone does enjoy hearing you sing." Grand Ole Opry. Back before iPods or CDs, people listened to music at home on record players or on the radio. Radio shows were popular the way TV shows are now. In 1925, a Nashville radio station began hosting concerts featuring the biggest country music stars. The show was first named the WSM Barn Dance. 2 years later, it became known as the Grand Ole Opry. Every week, crowds filled the hallways of the station to hear Hank Williams, Minnie Pearl, and others. The show was so popular, it moved into an auditorium and then into an even bigger one. Today, country music fans can hear the shows on the radio or watch them on television. Elvis loved listening to the Opry as a kid. He performed on the show only once on October 2nd, 1954.